There's a lot of videos out there that teach people the perfect cookie cutter way to train your cat. And yes, it definitely works. The clickers, the military training. Let me not say it like that, but that's kind of how it feels to me. I've gotten my cats to do quite a few tricks without really trying to focus on like discipline and perfecting a system, and more so kind of focusing on how to communicate with my cats. And I think it'll make more sense as I continue on with the video. But if you're looking for a new approach, kind of a more lazy approach to training your cat, I think this video might be useful for you, because my cats learned an array of really cool tricks just by the relationship that we built and like having fun learning how to communicate. And so yeah, with that in mind, if I was looking for a new approach and I was starting to train my cats for the first time, I would start with these 3 tricks. The first one that I found the most useful is sit. The second is teaching them a key word or how to understand to climb up something or to get down from something. And the third is recall, telling them or figuring out a way to communicate to them, hey, I'm seeking your affection, come to me. I figured those 3 were actually really, really great places to start, because although I'm kind of lazy in my training, I have an intention for my training. So for example, sitting. I believe that this is the #1 trick to start with for your cats. It's the easiest for them to do. They do it naturally all day. And most times, because we are significantly taller than them, they have to sit in order to even look at us or understand what we're saying. My voice just cracked. Oh, that was funny. To understand what we're saying, so... But yeah, because it's the easiest trick for them to do, it's the easiest for them to catch on to, and it will be like that first click in communication for you and your cat. But then outside of making it like one of your first opportunities to learn how to communicate with your cat, it's also kind of just useful for helping them help themselves. So like my cats, they kind of struggle during feeding times because Mochi eats a little slower than Rico, and Rico often tries to go after her food. So I've kind of made it a habit to have them both sit before putting down their food, so that they know, based on where they're sitting in the same spot over and over again, they can kind of learn what is theirs and gain a sense of boundaries just off of learning how to sit in place in a specific space. But yeah, some of the useful aspects of training your cat to know where they can and can't climb up and down is, of course, with the counters. I know I'm not the only household that kind of really gets annoyed when their cats are climbing all over their kitchen counters, because you have to go wiping every 2 seconds after them, and paper towels are expensive these days. I don't have the time. But yeah, when my cats figured they get a reward for climbing down, it became a lot easier. When they hear that trigger word, they're like, ooh, I know what mom's talking about. She's talking about getting a reward for climbing down. But I'm still figuring out that system, if I'm being completely honest, because I don't want my cats to get to a point where they're like, oh, I'm gonna climb up on the counter so I do get a treat. Now what? I don't know. If anybody has a tip on what to do about the counters, please give me advice. Aluminum foil did not work. They just started biting it and playing with it. And honestly, it's ugly. Like, why would I do that to my kitchen counters? I'm hoping consistency over time will help with the counter situation, but I am always down to save time on something. So please help. But anyways, another reason I found it really, really useful to train my cats where they can and can't go up and down was when I installed their cat shelves. It was a really useful tool in helping them gain the confidence to test out that new space. And it was literally just the perfect word: up, up, down. And yeah, you can see from the video footage that it really helped boost their confidence in that process, because they were unsure about this new space, but they were sure about what I was saying. And the last reason I think up and down is a great place to start, and honestly, it's my favorite reason, is because we were really, really hoping that the next cat that we invested in, i.e. Rico, learned how to climb on our shoulders, and teaching him to climb up and climb down made it significantly easier to make that like a normal habit and something that became normal to communicate that we enjoyed in our relationship. And literally actually 10 minutes before filming this video, my boyfriend came in the room and Rico was like running around in circles at the zoomies. And then my boyfriend opened his arms and Rico just like flew in his arms and just climbed up on his shoulder, just sat with him for a second, got all his cuddles and love, and then like bounced back off, went off with his day. And he has a habit of doing that now. I'll just tell him like, come up, climb up on me. And I'll just like hold him on my shoulder and just walk around the house. I hope I can get some video footage of this by then because it's so cute when it happens. Okay. And then lastly, recalling. I think that this lazy trick is super useful because, for one, safety reasons. If ever you're in a situation where your cat or your animal gets loose, them feeling safe and knowing like to come to you is pivotal. Now, it's never really happened in a concerning way for me, but like there's times where I've opened the door to my apartment and Mochi's just ran out in the hallway and I'm like, girl, come here. And she knows that's the word to come back. So yeah, I also think this one helps grow your bond with your cat like significantly more. But I also think this one helps grow your bond with your cat because say you wake up 6 in the morning and I don't know, you're in just like a cuddly mood. Cats are fluffy and you just want to like pet something fluffy, or you just want like a hug. I don't know how to explain it. I hope people get what I mean. But I don't know, we just wake up, we're in a good mood, we want to spread the love, and I will say their name and then tell them to come here, and we will spend like the first 10 minutes of our morning having just like, I would honestly call it a meditation, a calming meditation session with the frequency of the cat purrs and them feeling fulfilled. We just have a really great start to the morning. The cats get cuddles, they're making muffins. Recall is just really useful. I feel like this one's kind of obvious. If they're going somewhere that they shouldn't be, telling them to come to you just makes it 10 times easier rather than telling them to stop going where they're going. So like, for example, Rico had a habit of biting on cords for a little while, and so that's not useful considering my boyfriend works from his computer. Yeah, there's a lot of cords going on back there. So when I go in there and Rico happens to dart past my legs through the door, I can just tell him, come on. And he just like, with his cute little tail perked up, just like wanders on off with me. I consider this form of teaching your cats tricks like lazy because the focus is just how my cats and I naturally choose to communicate and how we understand each other. Like, for example, if I were to use the clicker, I think it would be harder to get my cats out of the habit. Oh, I think they want to come in. Hold on. Who's trying to come inside? Oh, hi. You having fun? I'll let you know when it's your time to come by. But I feel like it would be harder. It would be harder to wean them off the treats. But I just knew, like, rather than creating an attachment to a clicker and then treats, if I'm just teaching them how to communicate, or like, I knew that if my cats could see the correlation between me saying something in a foreign language, but they get an array of benefits based on from figuring out what I'm saying, it becomes like a fun game and a much easier way to interact daily than to be like, oh, let me get my clicker. And I think it's important, like, for people to know we're really just communicating and like really learning with each other. And so it's so much easier to transfer these skills if they know how to read body language, if they're picking up on certain cues. That's how Mochi can know when I say the word Rico, I'm talking to Rico. But if I call her the word Nugget, I'm calling her, that's Mochi's side nickname because of the way that we've communicated with each other and the relationship that we've built and the way that she can recognize my cues. She recognizes, oh, Nugget, that's like synonymous to Mochi. It helped us build the relationship that we did to do things like play hide and seek, which I didn't even think would be possible with my cats. Like growing up, I just never imagined that would be a game I would play with my cats. And I do that now. I promise you, the examples go on and on. Like the other day when I decided to try out a trick that wasn't really that successful early on with Mochi, and she did it immediately because we've built this new standard of communication and keep looking for ways to maximize it every day. It is so cool. It's so much fun. They really start to become your children when you learn how to communicate with them and they learn how to communicate with you. But anyways, yeah, if I didn't make it clear in the beginning, the lazy aspect of this is not finding a perfect system, but just learning how to communicate with your animal. And I would start with sitting, teaching them where to go up or down, and recall the words that I use to communicate this with my cats. For sit, I just tell them to sit. Then I say up, up. I don't know why I have to say it twice. It's just every time I say it twice, it's just, I don't know, it just works. Down, I always say it in the same tone. It's never the happy tone. It's just, they know that this one is different. It's not necessarily like painful. They don't get anything scary from it. It's just down. Oh, that one's kind of bland. And then recall, I'm just like, come here. That's it. I hope this video was useful and just provided a new way to approach something that people have been doing for years. But other than that, see you guys next time.